Celtic will shoot from right to left as we look from the main stand here at Hampden, and it will be Hibernian who get the game underway. Remember the side drew when they met recently at Easter Roads, but it's a winner takes all tonight. This game will be played to a finish, and we are underway at Hampden. Celtic in the gold, and Jeremy Frimpong gets his first touch in the semi-final, heads it down the line, and Celtic will be looking to start on the front foot, and I'm sure Paul Higginbottom will have been hoping for this side to try and frustrate Celtic, because I'm sure he knows that if Celtic were to get the first goal, but it's Hibernian almost breaking through. Fraser Foster races out. So hard to beat Celtic anyway, but if you're chasing an experienced team who get their noses in front, which I'm sure Neil Lennon will want, it'll be very difficult for Hibs.
Yeah, it certainly looks as though there's certainly lots of energy there about Hibs in the way they started, trying to get about as close as down. So it's what they've got to do to try and stop us, is trying to upset our rhythm and be very strong defensively.
Odsonne Edward heads that one on, but there's no one there, and eventually it's just knocked back by Tom James into the arms of Chris Maxwell, who you would expect to be the busier of the two goalkeepers this evening here at Hampden. Fraser Foster just on the edge of the D as the ball launched over the halfway line by the Hibernian goalkeeper. Powerful header back by Christopher Jullien. Hanlon heads it into the walls of the centre circle. The ball bobbing about in there at the moment. Scott Allen nudges that one through, goes for the 1-2, and the first foul. Callum McGregor penalised for that challenge, and Stevie Mallon and Hibernian have a free kick just outside the centre circle in the Celtic half of the field, right through the middle.
Well, there was no challenge from Callum McGregor whatsoever there. Just a jump from the Hibs player over the advancing or closing down of Callum McGregor.
The ball switched to the left hand side, but it's a poor first touch. And the ball out of play for a Celtic throw-in deep inside their own half, about 10 yards or so from the corner flag. Frimpong just knocks it back to Jullien. He'll switch it across the 6-yard box, where it's picked up by Christopher Ayer, not literally of course, so that would have been a penalty, and he drives forward up towards the halfway line, and Hibernian backing off, allowing the Norwegian to switch that one across. He's looking to try and find James Forrest. The ball's intercepted, but it's Callum McGregor, brings that one down. Heels clip, but it's Odsonne Edward, tries to flick that one through. He's still on the edge of the box, leaves it for Elyounoussi. It's nudged on for Bolingoli. The block, and Celtic have their first corner, and it's 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, fantastic play. Odsonne Edward tried one or two wee passes through, but eventually released Bolingoli. But a good tackle, hanging up with James getting back to get a block in, and that was still a very important block, because I think Odsonne was just going to be putting that one into the back of the net. Had that just went clean through, so obviously we've seen her woken up. Hibs starting a little bit sharper, and that's us on the front foot now.
Callum McGregor clips that one into the area, gets the return immediately, knocks it back. Elyounoussi clips it across to the far side. Well, it was well read in the end by the Hibernian goalkeeper. Elyounoussi was looking to try and find Jullien. I wonder if he's still thinking about the chances he had on Wednesday night, and he'll be wanting to try and make amends.
He's taking a bit of ribbon for him, hasn't he? And yeah, but he's doing it in the right manner. But the most important thing, that he's still putting himself in those positions, getting themselves into those areas, and he will score goals for us.
Well, the atmosphere electric inside Hampden, of course. It's packed full of Celtic fans who make up the majority of the support here. They certainly have responded as Christopher Jullien stays down. A challenge there. Well, certainly Doidge looked as if he'd put an elbow into Christopher Jullien. He's a bit uncomfortable there, still down, and I think he's going to require treatment. And it's a yellow card for the Welsh striker, so the first yellow card, and I don't think it can have any complaints.
No, I think Hibs, as I say, are trying to show themselves about the place, but obviously we'll have to try and make it a very physical game. But obviously he's certainly looks as though he's struggling a lot.
Yeah, I think he's just caught his right eye.
To be fair, he's jumped quite a wee bit early, and I don't think that was deliberate. I know he's got a card for it, but I think just somebody has to jump first. But it looks as though that Jullien certainly got a shove, and he certainly felt that elbow. He certainly has come out, but certainly the first impressions there that
so Christopher Jullien still getting treatment at the moment and still looking in some discomfort. And hopefully he'll be able to continue. Hatem El Hamid would be the obvious replacement. Although of course Nir Bitton could slot in the central defensive position as well if necessary. So an early stop in play, and some concern for Celtic there. The French defender requiring prolonged treatment. John Kennedy is the part of the coaching staff, is standing on the edge of the technical area, keeping a watchful eye over what's happening at the moment, and still Christopher Jullien.
Well, obviously the concern is obviously with getting an elbow as a concussion. It certainly looks as though he jumped up very early. Certainly that you would have felt that, Jullien. And you can see the lump.
You can see it's almost like a cartoon lump. That is a real sore one he's got there.
And sometimes you're actually better if you're feeling if it's actually bust the skin, you know, that there's no pressure build up on that.
Neil Lennon and John Kennedy in conversation, so it may well be that Celtic might have to make an early change.
I think that should be okay, as long as he's not been concussed in any way, which I don't think he was. He was moving about, he certainly felt the pain, so if you're concussed you go down. I was watching the rugby earlier on today, and he certainly felt.
And I think Christopher Jollien's just getting a strap around his head just now, so in an interim they are certainly going to try and continue with him, so Doidge is going to have to watch himself. He's now in the book for that challenge.
The Rabsy Nisbet bandage round his head on many occasions.
And I suppose as well, from the whole team's perspective, having just started the game, the last thing you want is that stoppage, so having just warmed up and been ready to start.
Well, exactly, it does. It could interrupt the flow of the play, but hopefully it's early enough to be able to get that back and get into the swing of things. And as you say, it's a good night for football for players. Just a little bit damp in the air, but I don't think that would have any effect in terms of the muscles of the players and all that. So yes, they're still moving about and just trying to keep that, what that early impetus they had, trying to keep that going.
So Celtic's two Israeli players out warming up just in the touchline in front of us. Either of them can slot in central defence. Hatem El Hamid's generally played at right back, although I think his preferred position when he played for Beersheva was in central defence. Maybe Tom Minot can slot effortlessly into the back or through in midfield. So Christopher Jullien back on his feet, and he's going to have to just go over to the sidelines at the moment. So he is now wearing a strapping round his head. Celtic have the free kick, and we are about to resume. We've got 7 minutes gone, but I think about 5 of them have.
There's a fault. Sorry, Paul, for interrupting that. There's a fault with that decision. Through no fault of his own, Christopher Jullien has been injured. So why does he need to go off the park? I think that rule was brought in if somebody was trying to feign injury or whatever. So you're actually penalised through no fault of their own.
The ball headed, cleared eventually ahead of Rogic to Stevenson. Celtic back to 11. It's Doidge, breaks forward down the left hand side, switches it to Horgan, cuts onto his right foot and he curls it onto the roof of the net. So it's a chance from about 25 yards out from the Irishman. Tricky player, he's playing on the left tonight and trying to test Fraser Foster. No,
they certainly come as though they're wanting to have a go here, our Hibs, and obviously come in. We've seen our players do that on so many occasions, coming in from the left wing with a right footer and flying it into the back of the net, and certainly that was a one that troubled Fraser Foster, but I'm sure he would have been able to get a finger to that had it been a goal bound.
Christopher Jullien intercepts that pass from Scott Allen. The ball switched out wide to James Forrest, and Celtic back in possession in their own half now, with Jullien again just on the edge of his own area on the right hand side, and switches it all the way back to his goalkeeper. So we should have plenty of added time at the end of this first half, 4 or 5 minutes anyway, for that treatment to Celtic's French defender, who just takes up the play now, still in his own half, starts to stride towards the halfway line. He's got Forrest, who's come in off that right touchline. Frimpong works his way out wide. It's Frimpong slides it on towards Forrest. Forrest edge of the box, crosses it first time to the far side, and it's headed away. Well, there was nothing much Tom James could do other than put it behind for a second corner, but good play between Frimpong and Forrest.
Yes, it was good understanding, and James using his pace to get to that ball and delivering a teasing cross, but as you say, James, the Hibs full back doing the right thing, putting it behind for a corner.
It's going to be an in-swinger with the right foot of Mo El Yunusi. Clips it to the near post, looking for Jullien. The ball breaks straight back to the Norwegian. This time he clips it in again. It's headed clear. Chance perhaps for Frimpong. Well, the Celtic fans were shouting for him to shoot. Instead he just held on to the ball, skips past his man, fires it across. Well, maybe just slightly overhit, but wonderful skill down that right hand side from the teenager.
Oh, it's acceleration he's got in the control. Just overhit that cross into the box. We'd certainly have plenty of bodies obviously coming from that corner. But he is so comfortable in the ball, and he's direct and tries to go and make things happen. So Hopefully having a massive influence in this game so far.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough shift for Horgan. I think maybe that's why he's on the left-hand side, to try and track back the run of Frimpong, because certainly he would have the legs on Lewis Stevenson, who's a veteran of the Hibs side. As the ball headed back by Bolingoli. And Celtic in their own half with Christopher Jullien again, switches it across to Christopher Ayer. He's under pressure from Doidge. Dinks it down towards Bolingoli, gets a return. Celtic keeping the ball, but they've lost it now, and Doidge on that right hand side under pressure from Ayer, but holds it up, knocks the ball back, flicked inside there by James. McGregor challenges, the ball breaks, Elyounoussi skips inside, Rogic is in the middle of the park, and suddenly it's 4 against 4. Forrest is on the right, Rogic through the middle, can lay it on, knocks it to Bolingoli. He has to check his run, gives it to Elyounoussi, it goes behind him. Still Hibs haven't quite cleared it. And I think James Forrest was just looking for that ball to be laid into his path there on the right hand side.
I think just the wrong option taken by Tom. Going in, trying not on his left hand side. James Forrest was in there. He was getting support as well from Frimpong.
It's unusual because the two of them combine so well normally.
They do. I'm not understanding. Maybe Tom thought that was going to get blocked off and try to take or maybe again, obviously from up here we can't hear. Maybe Bolly was shouting at him and obviously was very vocal to say that he was on the overlap, but just the pass was slightly behind as well.
Bolingoli looking for his first Celtic goal, and Frimpong got his just last week. It's a ball out of play for a Hibs throw in over the halfway line down the left hand side for the Edinburgh side. Good block there from Scott Brown. It breaks to Rogic. Rogic holds off his man, slides it across to Bolingoli, still in his own half. And back again to Christopher Jullien. Hibernian trying to press Celtic inside the Celtic half when they have the ball. It's going to be a hard shift for them. Scott Allen just playing off Doidge, just trying to set attacks up, but it's Celtic now with Forrest. And he's brought down there by Hanlon. Well, and I think the Hibernian captain will be lucky to escape a booking there. That was a late and reckless challenge on James Forrest.
He was making sure he was taking James Forrest out of the game. That certainly should have been a booking. As James is down there struggling a little bit, but he's I think he's actually done us a favour, because I think James and Tottenham was just slightly overhit that, so I don't think he was going to get possession of the ball, but certainly gives us a good free kick in an area, a very dangerous area for Callum to be able to put this one in.
Elyounoussi goes over, has a couple of words with Callum McGregor, so it'll either be the left foot of McGregor, the right foot of Elyounoussi. Could it be the head of Jullien or Ayer, or even Odsonne Edwards? Scott Brown's furthest forward, although he steps back. It's left for Elyounoussi. He clips it into the box. Christopher Ayer, and it's a wonderful one-handed save there, although I think it was offside. The flag up on the far side. It was a powerful header. It was goal bound, and Chris Maxwell at full stretch wasn't to know that the flag was up. He put it behind, but it wouldn't have counted anyway. Yes,
it was certainly well met. I think he was slightly just in advance of the others. A couple of players, if you look at this one. And yeah, I think certainly he was in an offside. There was probably a couple of players, but certainly Christopher was that one. But as you say, the goalkeeper, Maxwell, what a wonderful save that was. That certainly was heading towards the goal, but he was not to know that, and he saved it ever so well.
Yeah, it's the Hibernian goalkeeper that clears that one over the halfway line again. Christopher Jullien leaves it for Ayer, and the ball's knocked down. McGregor knocks it in there, and Christopher Jullien gets the bandaged head onto that one. Frimpong clears it left-footed up towards the halfway line. It's met by Hanlon, the ball again in the air, and Christopher Ayer tries to knock it across towards Bolingoli. Brings that one down, stabs it back inside to the Norwegian, plays a 1-2, good play again, and suddenly Celtic on the attack. Well, he knocked it through towards Elyounoussi. The other option was Rogic right in the centre circle. Celtic regained possession quickly. Yeah, it was a good opportunity. Be able to play the ball. Good pass it was from Christopher. He let Bolingoli drive towards the Hibs rear guards, and certainly there was a couple of options, but the pass went away. Celtic with the ball back in their own half with Christopher Ayer. Bolingoli's on the halfway line on the left hand side. Ayer up over the halfway line into the Hibs half. Bolingoli starts to make the forward run. The ball clipped forward looking for the Belgian, but it was well read in the end. Hibernian head that one out of play for a throw in this near side, about 30 yards or so from the Hibernian goal. Bolingoli takes it quickly. He's looking for the return there. Elyounoussi couldn't quite get a good connection on it, and Hibernian have a free kick. Yeah, I think that was what the cause of just a little tug back. Wasn't a heavy tug, but certainly was looking for an easy excuse just to get down, and certainly got the fill.
That was Marlon, I think.
We are almost 15 minutes into this game. Of course, we had that stoppage of nearly 5 minutes as Christopher Jullien required treatment, and he's on the ball, manages to turn inside Horgan, who was pressing him. Scott Brown works it on to Rogic, back inside to the Celtic captain. Bolingoli on the move down this left hand side. The ball floated across and eventually cleared high in the air there by James. He read it well, but again, the ever willing run of Bolingoli, always giving his players an option.
Yeah, he does, and certainly was a nice pass out to left hand side. But James, once again, has had a good couple of interceptions in this game so far.
Well, every time Bolingoli's playing, there's a potential for a 1-2, and Hibernian certainly down that right flank are not tracking his runs.
No, because I don't think Marlon's the most disciplined of wingers.
Here he comes again, the ball floated into the box, he cuts it across. Well, first time he was looking to try and find El Yunusi. He's one his side, another corner. It was almost prophetic there, Tom.
Well, we just mentioned it, didn't we? He's not. I don't think he's got a defensive bone in his body. Looking at where Bolingoli was and where Marlon was, and he's trying to pass him on. But James had to be tucked in close to the central area, and that was certainly wasn't a good opportunity. He was stretching too much, but
El Yunusi with the ball into the box. It's headed clear by Hanlon. Celtic claiming it was a handball. Christopher Ayer certainly thought it was a handball. Well,
we don't get handballs.
I don't think it was a handball. I think it was a punch away. I think.
Is there a different rule for our games that were refereed?
Well, I think Paul Hanlon is very lucky there, because his arm was outstretched and he certainly looked as if it was punched away there.
That's a stone wall. Again, a stone wall penalty kick you'll ever like to see.
Well,
and yet once again,
here comes Celtic. Odsonne Edouard knocks it towards James Forrest. Forrest edge of the box. Still James Forrest goes towards the touchline. Clips it back. It's a chance for Celtic. And it's in the back of the net. And Celtic have scored. And once again, it's Mo El Yunusi. Wonderful skill from James Forrest. A powerful header from the Norwegian. And Celtic have the lead.
Yeah, it's injustice is done, because it was a stonewall penalty. I've seen Scott Brown going up to Bobby Madden. He'd complain about the earlier decision from the penalty, and I think he manhandled them away. But justice is done, getting in there. Wonderful play from James Bones. Get to the byline. We've seen it a couple of times. Across back. Obviously the interception there. A poor pass from the house player. And then Edward staying up ever so well. Keep his balance. It's all about the wing play of James Forrest, and a wonderful cross. El Yunusi, this time Maxwell absolutely no chance.
Well, James Forrest, the wing play, and the way he was able to clip that to the far post, and a powerful header. El Yunusi's 5th goal in Celtic colours, and he has put Celtic in front in this League Cup semi-final with just over 17 minutes gone, and that is just after 90 seconds after a moment of controversy where Celtic certainly should have got a penalty there for a blatant handball by the Hibernian captain.
And it was a first-time linesman that I think sent off. Was it Big Jozo in the Derby game where he could see an elbow?
Well, Celtic have the lead. So important to get the first goal in these matches, and it is Neil Lennon's side who have done just that. And down that left-hand side, Tom, where we identified that Hibernian are just going to sleep.
Yes, they did. But obviously coming into the back post, we talked about Marlon and who can't. He's not got a defensive bone in his body, certainly left, certainly on that occasion. To be fair, I think on the instance of when they've given the ball away in the midfield, their shape is all over the place. So we then exploited that, and as you say, El Yunusi at the back post, Marlon doesn't tuck round, and obviously exploiting the space at the back and buying 1-0.
A tough task for Paul Higginbottom's Hibernian side. Has just got even more difficult with Mo El Yunusi giving Celtic a well-deserved lead. There was nothing that Maxwell could do. We'd seen him produce a wonderful save from a Chris Ayer header, but that header there from El Yunusi, powerful, and ends up in the back of the net. And here comes Celtic again with Callum McGregor, switches it into the middle of the park. Frimpong on the overlap, the ball switched wide to James Forrest again. Forrest on his left foot, thought about nudging it to Frimpong, again goes to the touchline. This time it's blocked for a corner, and James Forrest is too much for Hibernian to handle.
Yeah, just Stevenson that's time trying to stand up, managed to get the block in, but as you say, the pace and drive and trickery of James was causing no ends of problem. But that's what we've got, and that's why we're signing up for a few more years.
Celtic with their 4th corner inside these opening 20 minutes. It's going to be Callum McGregor to swing this one in. Could Celtic double their lead? Ayer, Edouard, Jullien all in the box. McGregor scoops it to the far side. It comes off the head this time of the Hibernian player, spins out on this near side, and Celtic have a throw in. They're keeping up the pressure and really haven't got their noses in front. They know if they can extend the lead, it's going to be a tough ask for Hibs.
Yeah, well, you expect Hibs to be very fragile in the kind of form they're showing. Yes, they get a good equaliser, last-minute equaliser to draw 2 each midweek, but...
Here comes Odsonne Edouard, he's stayed onside. He's just come to it, should be number 2, and it is number 2, and it's Callum McGregor. A striker's instinct, the ball over the top from Jullien. Edouard stayed onside, he switched it in, and Callum McGregor has put Celtic in dreamland. It's 2-0 to the cup holders.
Sport on the right hand side once again, this time Edouard keeping himself onside. There was a few Hibs players that were slightly deeper, and Edouard exploited that, and as we see again, the pass over the top was exquisite from Jullien. Looks as though there might have been slightly in advance there, I'm trying to say that, but we'll take that one. We didn't get the break earlier from the penalty, but obviously we'll take this one.
Oh, Jim Craig always used to say that whoever puts his hand up in central defence or defence in these situations is the guy that's played him onside, and I think Hanlon just played him onside there.
Well, obviously we'll not get a better angle of it and see it, but
it's a wonderful ball inside.
Lovely, and the awareness as well from Edouard, just to dink it. That certainly doesn't look as though he was going for a goal. Must have seen the run of McGregor, so they'll certainly be very happy at this moment in time with the score.
Well, Celtic pressing home their advantage. Neil Lennon absolutely delighted, and well, Hibernian now have it all to do as this crossfield pass. What a pass from Ayer. He finds James Forrest. Could it be 3? Forrest into the box, clips it back. He was looking to try and find Rogic there. It just evaded the Australian. Christopher Jullien in a sprint there with Doidge. Doidge has won the ball, but there's 3 men round him. He's going to have to wait for support. He finds it in the shape of Horgan. The difficulty now for Hibs, of course, it is a winner-take-all cup tie. They're going to have to come out, and they will leave spaces which Celtic will exploit.
Which you do not want to do against a team in the quality of players we've got.
Well, Scott Allen has won his side a corner kick and a chance for them to try and reduce the deficit, but you do feel every time Celtic are on the attack they're going to score. But we've seen that so many games, isn't it? That's why we've scored so many games in recent games, because their attacking play has been absolutely outstanding, and as you say, at times we look as though we could score at every opportunity going forward, such as the quality that we have in the team. So Hibernian with a corner kick. It's going to be an in-swinger. Celtic with plenty of players back defending, and it's headed clear by Tom Rogic up towards the halfway line, and eventually knocked all the way back to his goalkeeper by Tom James. Beaten twice already tonight. Chris Maximo on loan at Easter Road from Preston North End, and there's nothing he's been able to do about either of Celtic's goals, as Christopher Jullien just flicks that one back to Fraser Foster. Well, I think Neil Lennon could have asked for any more from his side in his opening 23 minutes.
And you can certainly see a difference in the Hibs manner, in terms of how they came out at the early start of the game with a lot of energy, a lot of drive, and obviously the fragility that's in their team just now. They look as though their heads are down just now, which, considering who they're playing is. Here we go again. Here comes Frimpong, edge of the box, Edouard's into the area. Still Frimpong, cuts it back to McGregor. His shot's deflecting wide for a corner kick, and Celtic are on fire. I'm just looking there and seeing how many bodies the Celtic players are in and around the box. They're helping their teammates, they're getting in for support, and that was unlucky, because I think that was certainly heading towards target as well. But great interplay, once again, great understanding between James and Frimpong. Frimpong now on the ball. El Yunusi trying to open up the space, instead just plays it wide to Forrest. Forrest up against Horgan, tries to go to the touchline. Forrest clips it back again to the far side. It's headed goalwards by Jullien, but this time smothered by Chris Maxwell. Another wonderful delivery from James Forrest. The Frenchman rose, but he just couldn't get enough power on that one. Well, I think he was certainly under pressure from 2 players. I think James and Hanlon, I think it was, were certainly putting him under severe pressure, but he did rise highest, and certainly used that height to advantage, and he made sure he got a shot on target, and that would have went in had the keeper made any kind of mistake. Horgan keeps that one in play. He's almost at the corner flag, clips it into the box, and it's headed clear up in the air by Christopher Ayer. It's a dangerous ball into the area, but Celtic deal with it well. The Celtic fans chant Callum McGregor's name, the Callum McGregor song. Such an important player. He scored some key goals at Hampden over the past few years, and he was clearly delighted. A rare right foot effort. He was there following up as Neil Lennon just comes out just to have a word with
John Kennedy, and Hibernian on the ball, and they've given the ball away. It's James Forrest, left-footed, clips it down the line. He was looking for the will and run of Frimpong, just was out of play almost at the halfway line in the Hibernian side, with just under 20 minutes of the first half remaining, plus added time for that treatment to Christopher Jullien, and it's a long way back for Hibs now.
It's very difficult to see any way back. We've got that cushion of a 2-goal leads, and certainly, as you say, it allows for any kind of mistakes in the game. And what we've seen, and the evidence of what we've seen so far, the next team you think we're going to be scored would be the boys that are playing in the goal today. It's been a wonderful performance, and in an attacking sense, it has been as good as we've seen.
Well, Edward just trying to flick that on. He was looking, I think, for Elyounoussi just to run onto that one. But again, Hibernian stuck between trying to press Celtic further up the park and knowing if they do so, there'll be gaps in the pitch for Celtic just to pass their way through the opposition. And Christopher Jullien wins the header, picked up by the outstanding James Forrest, finds Rogic. Here comes Celtic again. Switch to Elyounoussi. He's into the box. The Norwegian looking for his second goal. He passes it through pairs of legs. It took a slight deflection and just goes the wrong side of the left-hand post. Celtic with their 6th corner of the first half.
Well, I don't think the keeper was going to get there. It was great awareness from Elyounoussi driving in. I thought he was going to drop the shoulder, but he just decided to have a shot at goal and a pass into the net almost. And it was just so unlucky. I think Jackson, who was there, he didn't know too much about it. It just come off the back of the heel.
Celtic with another corner, another in-swinger from Callum McGregor. Steps forward, curls it to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed clear, and Hibernian tried to pick up the loose ball, but it's a poor first touch from Scott Allen. A hand of apology to his teammates, and Celtic with the ball just over the halfway line with Jeremy Frimpong. Christopher Ayer is one option. Instead, he opts to play it back to Fraser Foster, who's not really had much to do so far in this game, and Celtic begin building again. The Celtic fans, and there are tens of thousands of them in this National Stadium, are in fine voice, are enjoying the game so far. The ball switched to the left-hand side. It's brought down there by James under pressure from Elyounoussi. Good closing down, pressing play there from the Norwegian.
Well, he's got no options at all, isn't he? You see Elyounoussi going to close him down. Bolingoli went to close down the midfielder, Marlon, and then there was nothing. The dodge was way over on the far side, so he had absolutely no pass on.
Well, you can see Hibs have been rushed into mistakes, and Celtic in absolute control, and I'm sure the word from the touchline and on the pitch will be, let's get this game over by half-time, because they're capable of doing that.
Yeah, well, that's the other side of it, isn't it? It's to be able to keep that high pressing and to pressurise Hibs in areas where they don't like it. You've got to get a little bit of time, get a foot on it, but the Celtic players are not allowing them that time afforded. James
Forrest switches it into the middle of the park to Scott Brown. Frimpong is wide, instead he curls it back to Forrest. Good ball from the Celtic captain. Frimpong in support with Forrest. Gives it to the teenager. Celtic passing their way through Hibernian. Bolingoli again, so cool on the ball. Finds Elyounoussi wide in this left touchline. Odsonne Edouard tries to spin round his man. Bolingoli's in support. Drives towards the touchline. Curls it into the area. It's scrambled clear, and Hibs are hanging on by barely a thread here.
Yes, another goal, as you say, Paul, before half time, and as you know, Hibs will be demoralised. Such is the condition of their conference just now, and being 2-0 down against the champions, the treble winners. It's not a good place to be.
James Forrest again, Frimpong out wide. Switches it back to his captain. Always an option, Scott Brown in the middle of the park. Every Hibs player in their own half behind the ball. They're just trying damage limitation at the moment, but here comes Christopher Ayer striding forward. Ayer slides it. Well, Elyounoussi had spun one way and the other. Slight mix up between the two Norwegians. The result, a goal kick.
I think not. Elyounoussi was eventually going to be run into offside, so he had to try and come out and put the brakes on, but obviously Christopher Ayer just content. Players were trying to close it down, trying to play it to the left hand side.
We are almost at the half-hour mark here at the Hampden. So far, so good for the cup holders. It's 2-0. It looks as if we might have got the break of the ball with the goal.
Well, that's one
Callum
each.
McGregor.
That's one each in terms of breaks today. One that we didn't get, we should have had a penalty, and then obviously that one which I think that Edward may have just been slightly in advance of the last defender.
Tom Rogic penalised there for the foul as Scott Allen broke away, and Hibernian have a free kick in the centre circle. So goals from El Yunusi in 17 minutes, a header from a James Forrest cross, and then Callum McGregor firing home from about 4 yards out. The ball cut across into his path from Odsonne Edouard, and Celtic at the moment look as if they're heading back to Hampden for another cup final. Hibernian will look to try and get a break, and James did well there. Scott Allen nudges that one on. It's a poor pass in the end from the former Celtic player, Bolly Bolingoli. Knocked forward from Christopher Ayer, and Celtic bring the ball clear. This is wonderful football, and listen to Celtic fans applauding this. Bolingoli shrugs off the challenge. Here comes Celtic again. He knocks it out wide to Odsonne Edouard. Played into the area. Hanlon swipes it clear, only succeeds in finding Edouard again. Edouard dances over the ball, plays it low. Hibernian scramble the ball out wide, and I'm sure most of the Hibernian fans have got their heads in their hands. They cannot bear to watch because it's all Celtic.
Yeah, I think there's actually boos coming from their support. Such is the dominance of Celtic, and what a goal that would have been had been able to get on the end of that one, that final pass in from Edouard. But yeah, certainly getting lots of bodies forward, getting lots of possession and getting lots of variation in their attacking play.
Fraser Foster in possession. Again, Frimpong an option out wide. Instead he'll just nudge it to Christopher Jullien. He'll start to make his way up the park, still in his own half, left-footed. Frimpong over the halfway line down that right-hand side. Horgan sprints over to try and cover the young Dutchman. He just dances past him effortlessly. Plays it across the 6-yard box looking for Edouard. It was a timely intervention, but the danger not yet averted. James Forrest plays it low. It's a pinball there. Well, Jeremy Frimpong like a classic winger. And Jullien wins the foul, but Hibernian cannot handle James Forrest, and they cannot handle Jeremy Frimpong.
No, what's a right-hand side it is that we've got here. The experience of James Forrest, the youthfulness of Jeremy on that right-hand side, and it is absolutely terrorising that left-hand side of Hibernian. They'll not want to come out for the second half.
It is remarkable to think, and we'll probably do it every time Jeremy Frimpong plays, but this is only his 4th professional game.
And I know Pete what says at the start, you now know why we were so desperate to try and see him, and how lucky we were to get him. He certainly looks as though he's very comfortable. He looks as though he's a capable defender, but he can also, as you say, play almost as an auxiliary winger at times.
Here he comes again. He's got James Forrest inside, who is just a classic winger. Drives forward, goes for the 1-2 with Rogic. Still Forrest, he's got Frimpong out wide, finds the young Dutchman. Up against Horgan. Well, this time the Irishman did enough just to dispossess him. The ball blocked at the expense of a goal kick, and Hibernian have a brief moment of respite.
Yeah, but it's only a brief moment, isn't it? You know, such as the dominance we now have in this game. We're certainly going forward and going through the variety of the attacks, and it's very pleasing to the eye in terms of what we're watching. In terms of the football and the skill that is on show. And yep, we're very happy campers just now.
Goal kick to Hibernian. We have about 12 minutes plus added time of the first half here at Hampden, as we no let up in the Celtic support's vocal encouragement for the team, and the team have responded in fine style with 2 goals and an absolutely dominant performance. And back again with Fraser Foster.
I think just watching Jeremy there, in terms of his ability, the sharpness of turn, obviously because the advantage of the size of him, that he can get off the mark that little bit quicker than some of the bigger boys, but he is so sharp in his turning.
Here comes Celtic again. They've carved Hibs open. James Forrest drives forward, edge of the box, still James Forrest on his left foot. Well, he mishit it and almost took the goalkeeper by surprise. In the event, it's gone behind for a goal kick, but Celtic with 2 passes were at the other end of the park.
Oh, it's just fantastic play, isn't it? I don't think Ellison was too enamoured with the decision for James to try and come in and shoot with his left foot. I think he'd made a run. I don't know if he was actually to get away with, from the players that was there, but certainly it wasn't the best effort from James there. But another example, as you say, how quickly we can turn defence into attack.
Scott Brown wins the header, knocks it back into the Hibs half. His Hibernian captain knocks it back towards his teammates. Horgan down this left-hand side for Hibernian, up against Frimpong. Hibernian have pushed men into the box. The ball slipped there from Horgan as he tried to cross it. It's gone behind for a goal kick, and I'm not really sure what Paul Higginbottom. I think just now all he'll be hoping for is that his side don't concede any more goals before the break.
Well, and that doesn't look likely in terms of the form that we're showing, in terms of how we're going into attack mode at times, and certainly that was a wasted opportunity. Certainly a good opportunity for them, because they had about 4-5 bodies in the box there if Horgan had been able to do that. But as you say, the confidence of the team just now would have been just sucked right out of them. Obviously those 2 goals.
Well, you see almost getting inside James. He did well there just to knock the ball beyond Rogic. He's moving forward. He knows he doesn't have the pace to drive forward too much. Rogic challenges there. This time Doidge wins a free kick just in front of the Celtic technical area. John Kennedy has been patrolling that area. Neil Lennon content at the moment just to stay in the dugout. And Hibernian with a free kick, and I think they'll probably shove the big men from the back. The really set pieces are probably their only opportunity. Celtic holding a line about 25 yards from Fraser Forster's goal just now. Hibernian needing a break here because they have been second best from the word go, as Christopher Julian rises powerfully. The ball breaks to the edge of the area. Celtic battling again, the ball goes inside and it's a chance, and Hibernian get the break of the ball. It seemed to take a touch, I think, from a Celtic player.
Yeah, but that again, that should have been offside, should it not have been? Doesn't matter if it's touched the Celtic player on the way through. But I think there just was an overload of Hibs players just in that century area. I think there was only one Celtic player not marking him, but I'm of the opinion that certainly was an offside one, as well as the calls are looking through. Trying to think of who's the deepest at that moment now. It's offside, well. No, was that a Celtic player?
I think it was Bolingoli took the last touch through the middle.
Right, okay.
Well, Hibs out of nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
Have managed to get a break of the ball. Holberg did well to finish it, so Celtic leading here by 2-1, and Hibs have a glimmer of hope. I'm sure Celtic will be keen to restore that 2-goal lead as quickly as possible. Christopher Ayer intercepts.
It's a shock to see as lose a goal with that. I mean, the manner of what she was.
The ball floated forward looking for Tom Rogic. Frimpong was in space down the right hand side, but it's back with the Hibernian goalkeeper. The last time the sides met at this stage of the competition a couple of years ago, it was a 4-2 win for Celtic over Neil Lennon's Hibernian side. The ball knocked out of play. Well, if that's a free kick, then it's remarkable that the officials managed to see that. No, it's just it's a throw in. So Hibernian have the throw in. Well, they really have created nothing in it. It's just that real fluke that they managed to get.
Yeah, it was a set piece, wasn't it? And they had so many bodies in that box, and as you say, it was a fluke, that interception from Bowler that managed to just play it into the path of the Hibs player.
Hibs forced to play the ball back. Elyounoussi closes down well, and it's a throw in just over the halfway line down the right hand side for Hibernian. They've been given a lifeline. Holberg with that finish, he anticipated it. It was a break of the ball, last touch from Bolingoli. As Stevenson forced to sprint back to keep that one in play, the crossfield pass, and just switches it to his captain, and Hibs in possession. And certainly the manager will hope that goal settles their nerves. They really were shell-shocked with the way Celtic had started the game. Elyounoussi battling for the ball, but breaks towards Hibernian. Elyounoussi does well, wins the ball. Christopher Ayer strides forward over the halfway line. Here comes Celtic, tries to clip it through, was looking for James Forrest. Hibernian get the break of the ball, and suddenly it's the Edinburgh side on the attack. Bolingoli read that one well, and again Celtic can break forward now. Elyounoussi, Frimpong's out wide.
Certainly Elyounoussi was impeded there, I certainly thought, from Vela.
Well, the game a bit more stretched in these last few minutes, and the Hibernian fans have suddenly been roused. Well, they've been shell-shocked for most of the game. We're almost at the 40-minute mark, and it's Celtic leading here by 2-1 as Bolingoli challenges for that one. Gets the break of the ball, knocks it forward, looking for Elyounoussi, just slightly overhit. Elyounoussi almost got the break of the ball there, but it spins off, and it's a throw-in in front of the Hibernian technical area.
Yeah, just a little bit overhit from Bolly, or else that was a great opportunity for Elyounoussi to be driving at James.
Hibs in possession. Callum McGregor trying to regain the ball. Celtic trying to close down the play. Frimpong knocks it forward, but it's chested down by the Hibernian captain. Hanlon knocks it back to James. James left-footed, switches it right to left. Frimpong challenges with Horgan. It's James Forrest the first react and flicks it all the way back to Fraser Foster. He takes a touch and just nudges it out to Christopher Jullien. Forward now to Callum McGregor. Celtic still finding the spaces, still finding the men with the passes. Can they find a third goal before half-time?
Well, it's good composure, isn't it? Putting the ball out for the back, that even under tight situations, and it shows you the confidence of the players. We'll have a wee setback there, but we'll get that back, I'm sure.
Scott Brown on the halfway line. Callum McGregor's in the centre circle. And Celtic keeping good possession here. Christopher Jullien takes up the play on the edge of the centre circle, moves into it. Left footed again, finds Frimpong. Forrest is ahead of him. Scott Brown back in the halfway line is an option. Odsonne Edouard has come short, gives it to Tom Rogic, and it finds its way out to Forrest. Forrest through to Edouard, he's into the box still. Edouard, he's challenged there. Tom Rogic beaten to the ball, and good defending in the end from Hibernian, but it was a wonderful skill from Celtic. Yeah, it was a good challenge. I think was it Jackson that got that last ditch challenge in, because that's what it was. Scott Brown tries to cross it into there, it's headed clear. Hibernian trying to pick up the loose ball. Bolingoli chases that one back, it's knocked over to the right hand side and overhit there. Mallon was never going to get that one. Yeah, that was wonderful football to release Edouard into the Hibs box, but last ditch challenge stopped us from getting an attempt at goal on that occasion, but certainly we do look as though we can create as often as we can here. Horgan intercepts that pass from Christopher Jullien. Stevenson, edge of the area, fires it to the far side. Well, it was a poor cross in the end from the veteran left back. Having got himself into that opportunity, considering that where we were and Hibs getting 2 or 3 players into the box, that he couldn't have had a better delivery than that. Well, Fraser Foster, hand of apology there. He was trying to find James Forrest because Stevenson wasn't back in position, but instead finds the touchline, and the Hibernian have a throw in as we see their goal again, and it was Bolingoli just took a touch and it was into the path of Hallbeck. Well, I thought it was a Hibs player who got that final touch, but it wasn't, and Hallbeck, couldn't believe his luck and put it behind with good composure. Big Fraser Foster coming out, making himself big, but to no avail. Hallbeck slotting it back behind him. Jullien battles for that one. Celtic regain possession. Odsonne Edouard on the halfway line, out now to James Forrest, back to the Frenchman. Celtic come again, switched across from Odsonne Edouard. He was looking for Bolingoli. Mallon cushions that back to his goalkeeper. It's almost the first time that Mallon's actually tracked his run in the position he's in. Bolingoli inside to McGregor, back to Christopher Ayer, and all the way back to Fraser Foster. Good passing again from Celtic. They've kept possession for most of this first half. The players will be as disappointed as anyone to have conceded that goal out of nothing. Yeah, we don't like conceding goals, as you say. It was just because there were so many bodies of Hibs, and it was an unlucky break. That it was Bolly, they got the final touch on the ball straight through to Hallberg. But we'll take it. Obviously that 2-goal cushion that we had gives us that opportunity to overcome that mistake, that error. Tom Rogic finds Odsonne Edouard, drives into the box, a chance for the Frenchman. Still Odsonne Edouard, flicks it across, and Celtic have restored their 2-goal lead. Wonderful play. It's another assist for Odsonne Edouard. It's another goal for El Yanusi, and Celtic lead here at the Hampden by 3-1. Well, how much of blame a play does Edouard want to put at this time for El Yanusi? Earlier it was McGregor put into the back box, and he's just driving at defence. They cannot touch him, they cannot get near Edouard, and unselfishly as he goes into the box, onto the byline, he squares it. This time El Yanusi not hanging about, making sure that he puts himself into a good position, and an easy finish for El Yanusi, and the 2-goal lead is restored. Well, that's where you want your forwards to be, inside the 6-yard box, and it was an easy tap in, but he had to be there. It was all about the run, but Odsonne Edouard again sets up from a very similar position from Callum McGregor's. Exactly, and this time it was outside the foot. I think it was the left one in the first half, or the first earlier incident, and that's where El Yanusi wants to be. You want to, if Edwards coming out and trying to create something, you've got to get other people in, James Forrest or El Yanusi, and to be fair, they have been doing that very, very well in the game tonight. Well, if that was not a free kick, which it wasn't, then Scott Allen should be booked for diving, because it was a theatrical fall to the ground. Yeah. Tom Rogic gets the free kick. Celtic have the ball, and a much fairer reflection of the first half and the scoreline now?
Yeah, totally. You know, certainly a couple of goals. They're certainly, you know, well worth a couple of goals in it. And that should have been a booking on that one. On 2 occasions, and Halbach had a go at Tom Rogic.
Frimpong fires that across, looking for Odsonne Edwards, who's challenged there, and Celtic have another corner kick. Wonderful play down that right hand side.
Yeah, but it's just the pace of not just the pace, the energy and the drive and the willingness to get forwards. That time a cross out into a very dangerous area, but obviously just too many bodies for Edward to get a good connection onto that one.
Good defending in the end from Hibernian. We will be playing 4 added minutes at the end of this first half. The 4 minutes, of course, for that treatment required for the head injury to Christopher Jullien. Thankfully he shrugged that off. He's in the box now. Could he finish the first half with the goals? It's played to the near side. It's cleared. Horgan picks up the loose ball, knocks it forward, looking for Scott Allen, but there's no one ahead of him. Oh, he's never going to beat Jeremy Frimpong. Well, that should be a booking, because again, that's a poor challenge.
Absolutely.
He should be off. He should have been booked for diving, and that's a poor challenge into the back of Jeremy Frimpong, because he knew he was never going to beat him for pace.
Well, that's, you know, you can talk about that being a red card, because he had absolutely no chance of getting the ball. He had no intention of getting the ball, and it looked as though he was trying to sort of take Frimpong out of the game.
The ball slid forward, looking for James Forrest. He checked his run. The ball back with Maxwell now, the Hibernian goalkeeper, inside his 6-yard box, cleared up towards the halfway line. Christopher Jullien wins the header, and it's with volleyball and Golly. Well, Mo Elyounoussi already 2 goals tonight, now on a hat-trick. The ball's clipped forward, looking for Odsonne Edward. He's challenged there, and Hibernian gather. The ball's back in their own half with their captain, and his only option is to play it to his goalkeeper, who takes no chances at all under pressure from Elyounoussi. Plays it over the halfway line. Free header for Christopher Jullien. Tom Rogic loses out, but Celtic with Callum McGregor nudges it to the Australian. Back now to Celtic's Belgian left back. McGregor just steps past his man effortlessly. Here he comes, the man who scored a goal already, nudges it forward to the willing run of Odsonne Edwards. And he's won his side a corner, and that was wonderful play from Callum McGregor. Well,
it was just a drop of the shoulders, wasn't it? It didn't touch the ball, and it just so foxed the Hibs midfielder, and then to allow, I think it was Hanlon eventually got a touch from the ball when Edward was trying to drop the shoulder and cut back inside to get a shot at goal. But there's been so many wonderful moments from Celtic, wonderful footballing moments in this first half so far. You don't want it to stop.
Well, could Celtic end the first half with a 4th goal? It's going to be a corner from 2-goal hero Elyounoussi. Plays it to the near side. It's swiped clear. McGregor fires it all the way back to Fraser Foster. We have gone 2.5 of the 4 added minutes, and Celtic with the ball on the halfway line. Callum McGregor just knocks it across to Golly, and the Celtic central defenders make their way back into position. Fraser Foster just outside his area. There's nothing he could do about Hibs' goal. He knocks that one long. Elyounoussi comes in off that touchline, and it's headed out of play by Hibernian for a throw in to Celtic.
Yeah, very comfortable position for Celtic to be in just now, as we're heading towards the end of the injury time in this first half. And I think any chance that Hibs had, I think, was certainly knocked out of them by that Elyounoussi goal. A wee chance that they got to come back to 2-1. I think it looks as though it's almost history for them now.
Elyounoussi wins the free kick. And a very pleasing first half for Neil Lennon's side. They have been dominant, and the goal that Hibernian scored was merely an aberration. So Celtic at least got in 3-1. And the ball will be taken in the touchline just in front of the Hibernian technical area, and all the way back to Christopher Ayer. By my watch, we have about 15 seconds of these 4 added minutes, and it's Christopher Jullien brings the ball forward again. Left-footed, clips it forward to the ever-willing run of Frimpong, headed clear only as far as Tom Rogic on that right touchline. Back again to Christopher Jullien, and there indeed is the end of a first half that the Celtic support have clearly enjoyed. 3 goals, 2 from Mo Elyounoussi, 1 from Callum McGregor. Should be more, and Hibs with just a lucky break managed to reduce the deficit, but 3-1, Celtic lead at half-time and in total control, Tom, of this cup tie.
Yeah, a better reflection in the scoreline rather than the 2-1, the 3-1. You know, a couple of goals. They certainly should be well in front by at least a couple of goals, given the quality and the difference between the two teams. It's certainly been an excellent performance. Has started quite well with a little frilly at the start, but then we started to take control, exert our dominance, exert our quality, and from both wings, well, we were given plenty of supply, and they just could not handle us down those areas, and eventually it took its toll by the goals that were scored. So a wonderful first half performance, and I think Neil will be especially delighted in the dressing room at half time.
Well, I think there is actually going to be a change there. I see Johnny Hayes, who is going to be coming on.
That'll be Ball and
Collie, who's come off at half time.
I just seen just before half time just some pictures that we saw, and I think there was a picture of Johnny Hayes walling up, and the picture went to, and I couldn't understand what that was, but I think that's just obviously hopefully there's nothing wrong with Bolly, that and Johnny obviously come on, who is as dependable and reliable as any player that we've got, and you know that when he comes on he will give you all, whether it's at left back, which will be today. I think that'll be a straight replacement for Johnny, just as he has just gone over to that left hand side, or whether it's in a further advanced areas up the park.
Hibernian have also made a change. Florian Camberi comes on in place of Josh Bella. Camberi with 4 League Cup goals already, perhaps a surprise that he didn't start. Has scored against Celtic in the past. It's going to be Celtic to get the second half underway, and we are 45 minutes away. Hopefully another Scottish Cup final appearance for Celtic as they look to retain this trophy for the 4th consecutive year. So Hibernian really going for it, playing with 2 men up front.
I'm trying to think. I think they've probably got a diamond in the midfield now rather than what it was before.
Tom Rogic can knock it across the Frimpong. Here comes Celtic again. James Forrest, edge of the box, back to Frimpong. Forrest just holding his line. He's onside. The winger takes up again. Frimpong goes outside. Again, he's having to just hold his line. Forrest comes inside. Plays it to Edward. Edward spins. Edward still in the box. Thought about the shot. Plays it low, and it's saved by Maxwell through the legs there of Jackson. Well, Celtic with the first chance of the second half.
Yeah, I think it was, as you say, straight through to Maxwell. An easy save in the end, but there is terror in that defence of Hibernian. But any time that Edward gets the ball, he's so strong and powerful, and they can't get a tackle in on top of him. So he certainly looks as though he's enjoying himself out there.
Stevenson drives forward. Hibs now have 2 options up front. Camberi the substitute, edge of the box, left hand side, tries to go beyond Frimpong. Frimpong nods off the ball and wins the free kick. Good play there from the teenager.
Yeah, and Camberi, who's I don't think any slouch himself, tried to knock it back from Pong, and Jeremy just was able to not match that, certainly beat that with his very quick acceleration.
So a change at half time for both sides. Camberi on for Bella, going off for Hibs, and Johnny Hayes takes up that left back role in place of Ball and Golly as Fraser Foster looks to take this free kick.
I would think that that would be the smallest ever full-back pairing that we've had.
You could be right.
I don't think there's been many more than that, but what they make up for and height, they certainly make up for in stature and performance, and certainly both players ever so dependable.
Hibernian on the ball, still in their own half. Horgan has drifted over to the right hand side, and it's back now with the goal scorer for Hibernian, Hallberg. And Swedish defender switches it to his captain and keeps it in play. John Kennedy again has been the man patrolling the technical area, and that ball's out of play, so tight for Hibernian trying to pass their way forward.
We just got to make sure the other part of the game, the first 10 minutes we've not given Hibs any kind of encouragement, and that seems to be the case. It's about game man management, get with control, eventually with the players that we have and the ability, trying to find a space.
Here comes Johnny Hayes drifting forward down the left hand side, dances past one challenger, chance for Hayes. Well, he just scooped it over the bar there. He'd done the hard thing and gone past his man, and I think he saw his name in lights.
It was the best shot from Johnny, and I thought he'd just get, as you say, just getting in there into the box, done the hard stuff of getting by the defender, and then you think it's just opening up for him to fire it across the goals. Oh, but as you say, a wee rush of blood to the head there.
Christopher Julian wins the header. James Forrest gets there ahead of Stevenson, but the left back does well and leaves it for Malin. Malin checks onto his right foot. He's been moved over to the left hand side after an ineffectual first half. He's Callum McGregor slides in, it breaks the odds on Edward. Oh, he was trying to play it through there for El Yunusi. It was the right idea. Well, El Yunusi knows he could have been on a hat-trick if Edward had managed to find him there.
Yeah, but Edward knew it as well, and that's what he tried to do. Not being selfish, trying to dribble, he tried to beat the players, try to get by him, and then El Yunusi would have been in clean on goal. But yeah, almost good perception there from Edward.
I'm not sure if it's advisable from a Hibs point of view for putting Malin, who was pretty poor defensively in the first half on the right, to track back Frimpong down the left.
It's a very
Here comes
valid
Celtic
point.
again. Odson Edward, well, the ball taken away from him. It should be out for a corner kick.
Not much complaint there from Edward, which I take it must have took a slight deflection off him, because certainly plenty of complaints from their supporter. Support back here, but yeah, must have took some, because there's no anything from Odson.
Frimpong challenges for that one, battles for the ball, does well, holding off his man, knocks it inside to Rogic. He is already a firm fan's favourite, and here comes Celtic with El Yunusi. Could he cut onto his right foot and get a goal number 3? He's on his left, plays it low, it's off the post, it's denied, and a match ball by the woodwork.
Yeah, that is very, very unlucky. This time going to his left hand side, firing it across, beat the goalkeeper, couldn't beat the frame of the woodwork, or it's metalwork as it is now called. But yeah, certainly very, very unlucky. Usually see him trying to drive in with his right foot, but not to be.
Christopher Julian challenges there, Malin, and a free kick goes the way of Hibernian, and Christopher Julian will get a talking to from the referee. So Celtic so close to goal number 4. Wonderful play from El Yunusi.
Yeah, well, you know, everything's on show here, and as you say, it's the difficulty of El Yunusi is really comfortable going to his left-hand side as he is his right, and you know, sometimes it's very difficult as a defender to go, well, where does he want to go? And this time he was so unlucky with the woodwork, just trying to fire it into that far corner.
Hibernian with a set piece. It's going to be Malin who is fouled. He's going to take it, clips it into the box, looking for a Hibernian head. It's knocked goalwards, but easy in the end for Fraser Foster.
Yeah, Scott Brown just doing enough there, just putting, I think it was O'Hanlon just under a bit of pressure that he couldn't get any power into the head and direct it beyond Fraser.
Fraser Foster knocks that one over to the left hand side towards El Yunusi. Good first touch, Norwegian. He's proven to be an important player already for Celtic. Knocks it forward, looking for James Forrest, who's raced through the middle. Still James Forrest, thought about the shot. It's off the post. Well, the left hand post denied El Yunusi, the right hand post denies James Forrest. It's 3-1, it could be about 6 or 7.
Yeah, but there was a couple of, wait and see this. Yeah, no problem. A couple of great moments of skill and ability there. The run from James in the first place, the pass to find him, but then the wee trickery, the wee drag back through his legs, and then just using his pace to that shot. I think it was Stevenson managed to just get a slight deflection, but again, very unlucky that it's hit the woodwork and not falling into the net.
Here comes Celtic again, down the left hand side. El Yunusi driving forward, Edward through the middle, still El Yunusi, switches it across to the Frenchman. Still Edward, clips it to Forrest. Forrest with Rogic out wide, still Forrest on his left foot. Could it be 4? A sliding challenge there. Well, just ran into too many purple shots in the end. Johnny Hayes at full stretch there, loses the ball. Well, it's only a matter of time before Celtic get another goal here. They've been denied, and Hibs still hanging in.
I think in that last opportunity there, I think it was just a slightly heavy touch from James in the last instance that allowed the Hibs players to come and get a shot at goal. To take the ball away from him, or else that, as you say, would have been another great opportunity for us.
Hibernian trying to get some of the ball. Scott Allen shrugs off Scott Brown and Callum McGregor. Still Scott Allen. Tumbles down. Well, I think that's what happens when you dive. And the ball out for a throw in. The Hibs player stays down. Well, Scott Allen, he's had a couple of dives already, and I think the referee's well aware of his antics there.
Well, they knew he was running into about 3 or 4 Celtic players, and eventually was running out of space to be able to try and do something. It was decent skill to be able to keep out of control, but just looking for it. We've seen that before, and yeah, just nothing, and certainly no penalty on that occasion. Hibernian
with the throw in. Down the left hand side. Lewis Stevenson on the ball, knocks it into the middle of the park towards Horgan. And again, he's challenged there by McGregor. Wonderful skill from Scott Brown. And McGregor does well at the second attempt. Frimpong fouled there by Horgan. Well, Hibs.
But it's still, sorry Paul, it was just still the strength of Frimpong to be able to stay up strong and get up, and he was almost looking for passes. He was fouled there very severely.
Celtic will leave the free kick. Scott Brown should be flicked there. Fraser Foster on the ball. I think he'll just launch this one long. So we have gone just over 9 minutes of the second half, and Elyounoussi and James Forrest have both hit the woodwork. Forrest with aid of Sleet. Nick off a Hibernian player, the ball spun over Maxwell in the Hibs goal, but he will be relieved again that the post has come to his rescue. But it's only a brief relief as Celtic come again now with Forrest. Frimpong down that right hand side, but Forrest switches it to the left. It's now forward now, Elyounoussi. Johnny Hayes sprints in support, gives it to the Irishman, plays it low looking for Edouard. It's blocked, and Celtic have their first corner of the second half.
Good work from James. He's done not too bad. He's a good couple of challenges in, certainly in the first half. There another one there to stop Johnny picking out Edouard in the middle of the box. But yeah, certainly they look dangerous in every attack now, Paul, don't they? Every attack.
Hayes and Elyounoussi over the ball. Could be the Norwegian to swing this in with his right foot. So Celtic looking for goal number 4. It would be no more than their efforts and their dominance deserve. As Elyounoussi fires it to the far post, and it's in the back of the net, and it's a Bruni. The captain has scored, bundled by the goalkeeper. He's protesting his innocence to spare his blushes, but Scott Brown has made it 4-1, and Celtic are heading to the League Cup final.
And I don't think Bruni will score an easier goal there. I knew he was up in that box for something, and then eventually just the predator striker that he was. The goalkeeper, the Hibs, Maxwell, was still protesting, but Bobby Madden didn't see anything. I don't know if there was anything in that at all. No, it was just a mistake. Julian jumping in front of Maxwell, and I think he's hit it onto the top of the head. Nothing in that from Julian, and Bruni on the spot at the right time, and game is finished.
Well, Christopher Julian did well there just to challenge the goalkeeper. If he's going to come for it, he's got to.
Well, the height advantage that Julian's got and he's jumping, I think the goalkeeper's just got to punch that away, because all he done was, when he's got it, trying to come down, it's on the top of Julian's head, and then fell nicely for our Bruni.
That's 3 of the goals inside the 6-yard box.
That's I think that's a rarity, is it not? I can't recall the last time we've done that, but yeah, very good. Predators are we.
Well, in fact, Elyounoussi, his header, he might have been in the 6-yard box as well, but a striker's finish from the captain, and Celtic leading here by 4-1.
Yeah, very good point, Paul.
Well, if there is a silver lining for the Hibs fans, it means they might be able to beat the traffic and get home to Edinburgh in time to have a night out, but they are not going to be celebrating tonight. It's going to be the Celtic fans who are celebrating and also looking forward to a cup final. Could it be a repeat of last season's Scottish Cup final? Celtic versus Hearts, we shall find out tomorrow, of course. Hibernian take the quick corner kick. The Celtic fans in fine voice as the ball's played into the area. It's headed into the back of the net, and Hibernian have scored a second goal out of nothing. It's Canberra. It's a repeat at the moment of the scoreline from the last semi-final. It's Celtic leading by 4-2, and there'll be real disappointment in the defence here, Tom.
Yeah,
a speculative ball into the box.
Yeah, just a decent ball that it was into a good area, but obviously Canberra have too much room. He has come late, I believe, though. He has come late into the box. No, he's not. He should have been picked up. That should have been well marked. Certainly disappointing. He should have been a lot closer to Canberra there, who is decent in there. So it was a little bit premature saying the game is done and dusted, but we're certainly in a very advantageous position.
Would it be fair to say Hibs have had two shots and 2 goals?
The other shot was, I think, from Horgan. Remember that one hit the top of the bar, or top of the net.
Here comes Celtic again. There's been plenty of goals here. 4 for Celtic, 2 for Hibernian. You wouldn't expect the scoring to be finished. Celtic will want to press home again for goal number 5. Elyounoussi looking for a hat-trick. Scott Brown scoring of Celtic's 4th goal.
Well, it's certainly been a very entertaining game, shall we say, if you were a neutral watching this. Or a fan of Celtic, certainly the football display has been excellent. Obviously we're concerned and disappointed about the 2 goals, but if we score 4 every time against the 2, I think this Celtic support will certainly go home very, very happy.
And I wonder if Neil Lennon, he was in conversation with John Kennedy, or he's thinking of making changes, but might think just now wait to see how the game pans out.
I was thinking you're right. Obviously, if it had maybe went a little bit longer with the 4-1 scoreline, I think that certainly would have entered his head.
Christopher Jullien brings the ball clear, knocks that one long, looking for Odsonne Edouard, but it's Jackson that heads that one down. Hallberg back to his captain, and the ball with Stevenson on the halfway line on the left hand side, switches it forward. Mallon tries to stab it through, looking for the run there of Doidge, but it's well read with the Celtic defence, and it's Johnny Hayes that brings that one clear. Fires it inside, looking for Elyounoussi. It's a wonderful ball. Let Hibernian get the ball back.
That was almost pass of the match there, wasn't it, from Johnny Hayes? A wonderful pass, and maybe just caught slightly. Elyounoussi was surprised a little bit.
Hibernian on the ball. Back to the goalkeeper, he's been beaten 4 times tonight. He smashes it forward. Scott Brown wins the header. Callum McGregor knocks it on, looking for Tom Rogic, but it's in the middle of the park, and Scott Allen brings that one down, and Mallon across now to Stevenson. He's blocked there by Forrest, and Celtic with Scott Brown. Canberry wins the ball, knocks it into the middle of the park. Horgan works it wide. Hibernian, edge of the area, it's clipped into the box, and it's Christopher Jullien rises high as to head it clear. And Scott Brown not happy with the challenge there by Canberry.
I think it was an offside actually, and there I think, yes, Douglas on that far side giving it to an offside. Bruni, as you say, not happy with the challenge. I certainly thought it was a over physical challenge from Canberry, obviously bringing that little bit of physicality into the Hibs team that she didn't have, as you see that offside decision from against Hibs.
Well,
that was an elbow actually. Looking at it now, it's more serious. There was certainly a flash of the elbows from Canberry. No wonder Bruni went down. Yeah,
he didn't really connect there. That would have been even more painful than the one on Christopher Jullien. Canberry certainly been involved. He scored a goal. Tried to have a swipe at the Celtic captain there, but Celtic will still lead by 4 goals to 2. Hayes tries to clip it forward, looking for Elyounoussi, but it's picked up by Hibernian, still in their own half. Horgan knocks that one forward. It was always going to be a tough one, looking for Doidge.
That just shows you inconsistency sometimes of referees. I didn't think that was a deliberate elbow from Doidge on Jullien in the early parts of the game, but there Canberry's certainly went for Brown, and he's caught and certainly caught him, but got nothing.
Frimpong kept that one in play. He was trying to find Forrest, but it's intercepted by Stevenson. Well, that second goal certainly galvanised Hibernian. They were really...
It's last throws of the dice for them, isn't it?
Yeah, looking down and out, but James curls that into the box. This time Christopher Ayer meets it with his head, knocks it back out. The Hibernian right back cushions the ball into the centre circle. Every Celtic player behind the ball at the moment. It's switched across now for Stevenson. Back again for Hanlon. Hibernian just trying to work an opening. Scott Allen tries to spin round Callum McGregor. Well, I don't think there was anything in that, and as we've seen, Scott Allen certainly the quickest man to go down as soon as he feels the breath of a Celtic player anywhere near him.
Yeah, it's embarrassing at times, isn't it?
Well, this is certainly within territory for Stevie Mallon, and we've seen him score impressive goals before. And Celtic with a 2-man wall, and it will be, I think, the number 14 for Hibernian to take this one, to try and test Fraser Forster to bring his side right back in. Instead he just knocks it out wide. The ball delivered across but blocked by Frimpong. Good defensive play from the Dutch player.
Yeah, just go and stand up because he's got the pace if somebody was to try and knock it by him to go, but very good play from Jeremy.
We are past the hour mark here at Hampden, and Celtic leading by 4 goals to 2 in this League Cup semi-final. Celtic fans that far side certainly thought it should have been a throw-in to Neil Lennon's side, but here comes Celtic, and this time they do get the free kick. Do they get the throw-in?
Yeah, it's just a bit, the management will take a little bit of sting out the game. Hibs are trying to go for it. trying to get back into this game by getting another goal, but just make sure we've got a very comfortable position. Let's get up the park and see if we can get this game really sealed.
Here comes Frimpong. Frimpong goes beyond two men. He's fouled. Odsonne Edouard, the referee waves the advantage. In fact, he's brought it back for the free kick there. And a poor challenge, and I don't know what the Hibs players are complaining about.
No, the referee's right. It's just whether could he have allowed a little bit more advantage. No, I think it's the right decision from Bobby Madden. It certainly looks as though Hibs had covered any kind of angles that they had, and as if Frimpong just taking out the game by a handling. Almost a two-footed challenge in there.
Will it be the left foot of Tom Rogic? Will it be the right foot of Odsonne Edouard? Could it be goal number 5 for Celtic here at the National Stadium? Hibernian had a free kick at the other end just moments ago. Now they're having to defend one. A 4-man Hibernian wall. Odsonne Edouard curls it, and it's just over the top of the bar. It's gone behind. It's a goal kick, and we have gone 64 minutes. Celtic leads here at Hampden by 4-2.
Yeah, just no bad effort from Odsonne there, just dipping over the top of the bar just a little bit too late. I thought it'd been probably better for the left footer of Tom Rogic, but obviously Edward's taken quite a few free kicks, and obviously I think he's in charge when it comes to just in and around the box.
The ball back with the Hibernian goalkeeper. It looks as if it's going to be El Hamid who is going to be coming on for the second substitution of the afternoon. Scott Brown tried to knock it inside to Rogic, but Horgan intercepted, plays it into the middle of the park, and James is in space on the right hand side. Celtic funneling back into position, the ball knocked forward. Well, first touch was good by Holberg, the second not so good, but the danger not yet averted. Christopher Ayer just scoops that high in there, and it's Johnny Hayes with Callum McGregor. A bit of confusion there between the two Celtic players and the ball on the edge of the area. Scott Allen curls it into the box. It's headed clear by Christopher Jullien at the expense of Hibs' first corner of the second half.
Yeah, I was watching Frimpong there. I think Dodge had just got in front of him, but he managed to get back in, make sure he's getting a good position, so he certainly understands about being goal side in certain situations. But I would imagine he made a straight swap for Frimpong, obviously what he's given to the game today, and obviously bringing on the fresh legs of El Hamid.
Well, Celtic look as if they want to make the substitution before the corner kick, so it's actually going to be James Forrest. So it may well be that Frimpong moves forward. And
well, yes, obviously maybe just to make it a little bit more secure. Will we go with a back three? I'm just guessing here. Might be a back three with Frimpong wing back and Johnny Hayes as a wing back. We'll be able to judge that as it goes on.
Well, at the moment, Celtic with El Hamid now on the park have to defend this corner kick as the ball's played to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed across. Rogic challenges for that one and shepherds it out of play, which should be a Celtic throw in just a couple of yards from the corner flag.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look. Yeah, I think that indication there was El Hamid was a 3 with Johnny Hayes as a wing back and Jeremy Frimpong also on this right hand side as a wing back. So and what it does is also give a little bit more height in the back with El Hamid coming on to the expense of obviously James Forrest.
Hibernian about to make another change as well. They're going to bring Slivka on. He waits to come on. They're on the attack at the moment, edge of the box, left hand side. Stevenson takes a touch up against Frimpong, slides it forward to Canberry, the goal scorer, flicks it back to Stevenson. Stevenson curls it into the area, it breaks to the edge of the box. It's volleyed just over. Well, that was a real chance for Hibernian to reduce the deficit further.
Well, they certainly seem to have been playing some of their better football just now. They're certainly looking as though they're wanting to go for it. They're certainly, obviously, as I said a little bit earlier, it's one of the last words as a substitution here from Hibernian.
So it's going to be Horgan off, Slivka on. And we have just passed the 67th minute mark as all the mobile phone torches light up.
I'd imagine that'd be a straight swap. Sorry, Paul, I think that'd be a Slivka just going to the right hand side of the midfield.
So certainly, I think you're right. I think it certainly looks like a 3 at the back with El Hamid, Christopher Jullien and Christopher Ayer Frimpong out wide on the right, Johnny Hayes on the left. So Celtic, well, they have that 2-goal lead. They would clearly like to extend that further. They have been dominant, denied twice in the second half by the post. certainly when Scott Brown scored that goal, you kind of felt that was it all over, and suddenly Hibernian, and they're on the attack again. Canberry into the box, plays it across, and he just evades Doidge there. Well, that was so close. It was a good ball into the box, and thankfully at full stretch Doidge was not able to get a touch on it, but still Hibs come again. Slivka's blocked by Christopher Ayer, and it's a corner for Hibs.
Yeah, just a little bit exposed down this right hand side of ours play, the left hand side of Hibs, and just about getting there. Canberra was a guy driving in. As you say, it was a great ball in. Way up the park. I think it should be a little bit deeper than that, and that was ever so close. But yeah, we don't want to have too many opportunities.
The ball played towards the penalty spot. Breaks again to this near side. Tom Roggett's the first to react, and it's going to be another throw in to Celtic. So we have just over 20 minutes remaining, and I think you're right, Tom. The last thing you want is just to give Hibs any further encouragement.
Yeah, I'm seeing Neil out with having a wee word with John Kennedy, and just obviously, Hibs are going for it, and as you probably expect, but, certainly look as though there's probably as good a possession as what they had at any time during the game, as good opportunities in terms of getting the balls in the box. So need to try and get my game management back on and get possession and take control of this game.
Christopher Julian switches it to the left hand side. Good ball there, finds Johnny Hayes over the halfway line. Here comes Celtic down this left flank. El Yunusi's inside. Johnny Hayes, edge of the box, finds El Yunusi. El Yunusi into the area. 3 men round him. Still El Yunusi, and eventually it's Jackson takes it off his toes. But Hibernian give the ball back to Celtic, and Johnny Hayes again. This time Odsonne Edouard wide on the left. El Yunusi ahead of him. McGregor back to Odsonne Edouard, but just plays it behind the Frenchman. Doidge plays that one forward, and suddenly Hibernian on the attack again. The ball forward looking for Canberra, but Christopher Julian read that one well. I think Celtic were looking for the free kick, nothing given, and Hibernian almost on the counter attack took advantage.
Yeah, certainly finding a little bit of space in the wing areas.
The ball curled to the far post. Canberra tries to cushion it back inside.
Offside.
Well, I thought there was an argument there for letting El Hamid just run on with the ball.
But we'll take it away at the time. We'll take our time taking this free kick, honestly, just to calm things down a little bit. I was good in the last couple of games, one on the left hand side, one on the right hand side, of getting in behind our wing backs.
Well, I think when you see the ball into the box there, Canberra was certainly offside. Odsonne Edouard battling for that one with Jackson. He wins the ball, still Odsonne Edouard shrugs off handling. Not too many options for him. Gives it out wide to El Yunusi. Good play from the Frenchman. Johnny Hayes again sprints, but El Yunusi cuts inside. Thought about the shot. It's on the edge of the box. Still El Yunusi. Still El Yunusi. Well, in the end he tried to knock it into Odsonne Edouard. I thought it was going to be a wonder goal for his hat-trick.
I thought he was going to pull the trigger himself, but I think, as you say, tried to find, but Edward was just waiting for a pass rather than trying to get across it. A difficult one for him to get to anyway.
Hibs on the ball. John Kennedy just urging the team on. Celtic still look when they on the attack as if they can carve Hibs open.
Yes, but obviously Hibs going for it now. They'll certainly get recovered from at the time being 4-1 down.
Good challenge from Christopher Ayer. Odsonne Edouard just flagged for offside there. A good ball inside from El Yunusi. He only had one thought in mind.
No complaints about that one there. So it looks as though slightly in advance of the last defender.
The Celtic fans still in fine voice. The Celtic still in control of this tie, leading by 4 goals to 2. But Hibs have certainly got a wee bit of impetus after that second goal that came out of nothing. It's Scott Allen manages to stay on his feet remarkably this time, but couldn't get the cross in. And Scott Brown knocks it forward to Tom Rogic, nudges it forward. Now Yunusi takes up the play on this right hand side, back inside to his captain. He's brought down by Stevenson. Advantage played, and Johnny Hayes has got acres of space down this left flank. McGregor in support. Hayes just takes a touch. Hibs have kept 3 men up front because it's all or nothing. I suppose it's a game where they know if they lose they're out of the cup. So
exactly, got to go for it. Yep, totally. But as you say, this is the way we should be doing our game management. By lovely pass there from Julian.
Hayes dispossessed by Slivka. Did well defensively there. Back now to James, and Hibs with the ball still in their own half. Malin, that chance, the shot from the edge of the box, it just went over. It would have brought Hibs really right back into it. But Hibs can't hold on to the ball. They have expended a lot of energy trying to get back into this game. Here comes Celtic again with Tom Rogic. Rogic dances past one challenge. Elyounoussi takes the shot. Well, it should be a corner kick there. Deflection. Yep. Celtic so close, but they have a corner.
Wonderful feat from Tom here, just an ability to find Elyounoussi, but a good tackle it was in the end. Was it Slivka coming in from that far side, and Elyounoussi just getting up very, very gingerly as he's diving towards it. But as you say, is, again, another example of us looking as though we could create some opportunities every time we go forward.
Hibs about to bring on their third and final change. It looks like it could be Martin Boyle to come on as Johnny Hayes comes over to take this corner kick. Celtic's 10th corner of the game, their second of the second half, and a goal now would really just over 15 minutes to go would certainly put the tie to bed as Hayes fires it across looking for Julian, spins off his bandaged head and goes behind harmlessly for a goal kick, and Hibs will make their third and final change of the afternoon. In fact, they won't, because Maxwell was in a hurry to take this one. Celtic win the ball back. Good defensive play there from Jeremy Frimpong, so we'll wait to see who Hibs will bring off for Boyle. It's liable to be a defensive minded player and try and use Boyle's pace down the flanks as Callum McGregor uses his pace, drives forward, tackled there, and it's out for a throw in deep in Hibs territory. And I think now Paul Higginbottom's side could be about to make that change, and it will be, I think it looks as if it could be Christian Deutsch.
Yeah. Just a straight swap, obviously. Doyle will probably go through the middle as well. Straight through the middle. Obviously trying to use his pace and his ability. Obviously getting that goal just late midweek. But it was a very strange decision there for the Hibs goalkeeper Maxwell to kick the ball very, very long. There was no built alongside Canby area, so it was almost a long hop. And we've managed to get the ball and keeping it in the final third of the Hibs defence.
Inside the last 15 minutes of this semi-final here at Hampden, and Celtic still leading by 4 goals to 2 and in possession at the moment. McGregor flicks that one forward to Edward, pulls that one out there. Wonderful play there from the Frenchman. He's into the box still. Odsonne Edouard, this could be a wonder goal. He's blocked. There's a good challenge in the end there by Jackson, but wonderful skill from the Frenchman. Stevenson first to react, but he just plays it inside, and Elyounoussi did well defensively. Good play from the Norwegian, and he's felled there by Scott Allen.
Edward deserved a goal there, but he's been absolutely immense today. Not got a goal so far, but he's been just a thorn in the Hibs defence by being so strong and powerful and skillful.
Here comes Johnny Hayes inside the box, clips it across, it just goes beyond Edward. It's missed by the goalkeeper as well. He's looked less than confident when the ball's been in the air. But Hibs managed to clear the lines.
I don't think he had any chance of getting that one. He's come across there, and maybe, I don't know if maybe somebody's tall as Fraser Foster might have got that, but he certainly didn't look as though he get anywhere near that one.
Johnny Hayes again, almost in the halfway line, knocks it inside to Callum McGregor. It's switched across to the right hand side from Pong's in space. He's just pushed forward, gets the ball from El Hamid. One of the changes Celtic have made. The other one, of course, Johnny Hayes, and El Hamid works it all the way back to Fraser Foster. It looks as if it could be Ryan Christie, the third and final change. The manager indicated he'd taken a knock against Aberdeen, that's why he didn't start. Midweek. Johnny Hayes flattened there. Christopher Ayer fires that one long. Always looking for the winning run of Odsonne Edouard, and the ball back now with the Hibernian goalkeeper. It's probably a like-for-like swap with Rogic off and Christie on.
Yeah, totally, was something I agree with that.
Wonderful tackle there, and Elyounoussi, a chance for the hat-trick, a chance, and he's just curled it wide of the left-hand post, but strong play from Scott Brown. Elyounoussi comes close, but still awaits that third goal.
Yeah, I thought that was going to hit the back of the net as well. Just looked as though he had probably as much time as he probably would like to your own picky spot, but just trying to be a little bit too neat over on that far side, and almost just inches wide. But yeah, great play once again, great lace as Ryan Christie looks as though he's coming on. Straight swap with Tom Rogic.
Well, we spoke about his impact in the semi-final last year, where he set up 2 of the goals and scored a wonder goal himself as Celtic beat Hearts 3-0 at Murrayfield this afternoon. He's got less time to make an impact, but you wouldn't be surprised if he does. He will replace Tom Rogic, and to be able to bring a player of Christie's quality on to replace a player of Tom Rogic's quality is a great thing for Neil Lennon.
As you say, the standard does not drop when certainly with that exchange, given the form that Ryan Chris has been shown, and what we've seen from Tom as well.
And he brings so much energy to the team as well as quality.
And obviously this late stage of the game to try and get that new zest. Good play from Johnny Hayes.
Good play there from Hayes. The ball out for a throw-in, and Hibs just over 11 minutes to try and get back into this game. They're trailing by 4 goals to 2, and at the moment it's Celtic who are heading back to Hampden next month for the League Cup final, and we shall find out tomorrow who will be the opponents. But Hibs have the ball at the moment. Stevenson takes a touch, switches it forward to Scott Allen. He tries to flick it inside. It's picked up by Slivka. He rolls it across. James has got a bit of space down this right hand side, moves forward. Not too many options. Played it to Boyle, who checked his run, and Christopher Ayer just knocks that one out of play in the far side. Celtic clear the lines, and we are almost at the 80-minute mark. Yeah,
just doing safe defending, making sure he's not taking any chances of whether we're going to get caught in the ball. We can regroup and get back into a shape to try and nullify the Hearts attack, as Brownie's just tying his lace here.
Well, so the play stopped. Scott Brown gets back to his feet. He's scored a goal this afternoon, Celtic's 4th of the afternoon. At that point it certainly looked as if Celtic were cruising to the final, but Hibs scored very quickly afterwards. Well, El Yunusi, he's had a fine game this afternoon, and he just gets better with every passing game. Here comes Celtic with Frimpong down this right hand side. Skips past his man. Stevenson tries to foul him. Well, and I think he'll be booked. Stevenson for the foul on the teenager. So the second yellow card for Hibs this afternoon.
He's seen just him as like a matador there, just waiting in the challenge from the bull, and as he's driving by Stevenson. Wonderful play for Frimpong.
I think Stevenson knew that the youngster had got the better of him. Johnny Hayes again goes to the touchline, fires it to the far post. There's no one there. Frimpong will sprint to keep this one in play, but it's just gone out and behind for a goal kick. And Johnny Hayes offers that pace down the left flank.
I tell you what, it'd be a good race between both Johnny Hayes and Frimpong to see who would be the quickest off the blocks, and I can't say. I wouldn't be able to tell who's the quickest.
Scott Allen on the halfway line on this left hand side, Frimpong back defending. Allen knocks it forward, looking for the willing run of Boyle. Boyle offside, fires it straight at Fraser Foster, but the flag was already up, and Celtic held a good line there.
Yeah, he's got a decent bit of pace on him, but certainly went far too early. We were just waiting, and Scott Allen trying to be doing a little bit too many tricks. Had it been playing that a little bit earlier, but yeah, certainly defence did well, stood up, held the line, and allowed them to run offside.
Celtic with the free kick. Fraser Foster over the ball, and I'm sure that the players might just sneak a glance or two at the big screens at either end of the pitch. As Lee Griffiths cheering the team on this afternoon in the stands, is headed over to the left hand side. Scott Brown finds Johnny Hayes. The ball played back to the Celtic captain, and Celtic in possession with Christopher Jullien. Fires it forward looking for El Yunusi. It's missed by El Yunusi, it's missed by Marlin, and Celtic back in possession. Scott Brown does well defensively.
Well, he does well cover the players in and about him, help his teammates out, and all that sort of hard work that sometimes goes unnoticed. Certainly noticeable there for what he done, and get a great interception.
Scott Allen, not too many options for the former Celtic midfielder. Eventually throws it forward looking for Marlin. Marlin does well to fashion an opening, but that was always going to be tough from that angle to beat Fraser Foster.
That was extremely ambitious, almost stupidity with the attempt from there. Certainly a lot of bodies are in him, and I think he thought he maybe was running out of options. Pulled the trigger, but we're going to beat somebody. Fraser Foster's ability from that kind of distance.
So Celtic with the goal kick. And Hibernian with 2 goals, but Celtic with 4. Should be more actually, given the chances.
Oh, yeah, you can say for neutrals it has been an excellent game. We've certainly been the far dominant team And to Hibs' credit, they didn't capitulate when it went to the 4-1. They came back, had a wee opportunity to get their goal, and have probably played as well as they have done for the whole of the game since they lost that, or scored that second goal for them.
Callum McGregor takes the ball deep into Hibs territory. Elyounoussi, he would clearly like one more chance. Odsonne Edouard spins round his man. Hibs get a touch, but it's at the expense of a corner in such tight spaces. He's so tricky, the Frenchman.
Just because the ball sticks in it, and the strength of him, and it takes not 1, 2, 3 players to try and come and close him down. And he has been outstanding today, outstanding.
So Celtic with another corner kick. It's going to be Ryan Christie to take this one. But Celtic have kicked Christopher Ayer back at the halfway line. Christopher Jullien starts to make his way into the box now. The ball fired to the far side, and there's no one here except a Hibs player. Odsonne Edouard back, tracking back, does well. Callum McGregor plays it down the line. Good play from Celtic. Odsonne Edouard, he's fell there. Slivka, Sully fell there from the Lithuanian, and Celtic have the ball and are eating up the time, and we're almost at 85 minutes.
Yeah, and just take their time with this one. There was an opportunity to play quick ones, but I think the right decision just to eat into the time that is remaining.
Scott Brown across now to Johnny Hayes. Elyounoussi just peeled off to the wide left, takes up the play. Too many immediately go to Markham. Johnny Hayes makes his way forward. The ball nudged towards the Irishman, back to the Norwegian. Good play from Celtic on this left hand side. Christie back inside to Elyounoussi. Slivka in the end took the ball off his toes. Hibs just trying to break forward. Malin saw the run of Stevenson, he did well. And Frimpong back tracking there. There's 2 Celtic players, and El Hamid penalised for the barge into the back of Stevenson. I think he used his experience there, Stevenson.
Yeah, I just felt the hands in the back of him.
He took the free kick quickly. Malin edge of the box. I thought they'd have tried to just deliver the ball into the box, especially at this late stage of the game. Scott Allen fires it into the box. Again, Celtic with Scott Brown defending so well. Stevie Malin clips it edge of the D. Holberg, he's scored one. Bruce rolls it across. It's a chance for Hibs. It's fired wide there by Jackson, the central defender. He's done well at the back, and he almost was the hero at the other end.
Yeah, there was an overload on the right hand side there. A couple of Hibs players over there, and just a chance. Was a very difficult one. Do think he hit it quite well, but was always rising and rising over the bar. Certainly well onside, and the strike was well enough. Don't know if he'd been able to square it. Canberra running once again, running offside. So I think that was the only option he had. He couldn't pass another one, but. Certainly Hibs been playing better when they went 4-1 down. That's probably been their best spells, but again we could have scored more goals as well.
Well, Celtic again, I think it helped Hibs the fact that they were only 4-1 down for about 2 minutes before Canberra scored.
Gives them a boost, and then it's let's see what we can do and try to throw everybody at it and get really back into the game. But Celtic have done well to be able to control this and see us through to this first trophy of the season final.
Well, Neil Lennon knows his side are so close now to another final. Odsonne Edouard again holding off the attentions of the Hibs defence. And we have got 3 minutes plus added time, and Celtic with the ball in the centre circle with Christopher Jullien. Elyounoussi, 2 goals this afternoon for the Norwegian. Scott Brown with a goal. And the ball switched right to left. Celtic just making Hibs chase the ball. As long as they don't have it, there's nothing they can do. Here comes Ryan Christie, middle of the park, driving forward. Fires it out wide to Frimpong. There's 4 Celtic players in the middle for Frimpong. Goes towards goal, clips it back, it's blocked. Well, his first touch was just a bit heavy because I think he was going to go for goal.
Listen, if he didn't have that pace, I'm sure that would have went behind for a goal kick, but he's absolutely lightning, and obviously one is a corner, which is not the worst outcome of that situation, given that it certainly eats away at the time for Hibs to get back into the game.
Ryan Christie again. I'm not sure if the ball was outside the triangle. Yeah, so Celtic will have to take the corner again. So I don't think Christie will have the option of the short corner this time. Not too many options inside the box for him. He fires it across the far side, it's headed clear. Callum McGregor will be the first to get there ahead of Boyle. Gives it to Johnny Hayes. Hayes challenged, dispossessed. The Hibs have the ball, still in their own half as Celtic funnel back into position. They kept the central defenders back because at the moment it's just about game management and seeing this game out.
Yes, it is, because that's, as you say, you don't give any opportunities. I'm interested to see the length of the injury time. Probably bog standard
20 minutes.
3 of it. Oh, yeah, incorrigible Paul.
Frimpong challenge there and battling with Scott Allen, who drives forward, still in the middle of the park, up against Scott Brown. Just flashes a hand on the Celtic captain's face, but here comes Hibs. Down the right hand side, the ball cleared by Christopher Ayer. Elyounoussi flicks it over the head, finds Scott Brown, can go for the return. Brown drives forward, can Celtic get goal number 5? Elyounoussi through the middle, Scott Brown flicks it towards in the region, a chance, plays it back for Brown, it's saved, and Scott Brown has scored his second goal, Celtic's 5th. The Bruni is celebrated, and Celtic are heading to the League Cup final, and now Scott Brown is on a hat-trick.
An absolutely perfect goal scorer from Scott Brown. A double from Bruni, everybody absolutely delighted, and yes, we are going to Hampden for the final. Hopefully retaining this League Cup that we have won for 3 times in a row, and then obviously on our target for that quadruple treble.
Well, Neil Lennon clearly delighted with his captain's performance. There'll be 4 added minutes. He certainly tried to set up Elyounoussi, had stayed onside, but Elyounoussi returned the favour. It was saved at the first attempt, but there was Scott Brown with his left foot. Well, a wonderful finish, 2 goals, who would have thought it?
Certainly this man here would not have thought that, and I'm sure Bruni on the park would never have thought that, but obviously it had been in the right place at the right time for the first one, and then the second one taking advantage of us winning the ball back very, very quickly.
I don't know what's going to be the most ridiculous part of this question. If I ask you if we get a penalty, will Scott Brown take it?
No, it's a very, very good goal, because Elyounoussi is on a hat-trick as well, so would he take superiority?
Well, Celtic 5, Hibernian 2.
Edwards obviously a penalty take. I'm sure he would take that if that was a situation. He deserves a goal today.
The ball back with Christopher Ayer just on the edge of his own area, so the Celtic fans delighted. Hibernian beaten for sure now. Frimpong again tries to knock it through, almost gets the break of the ball there. Eventually Hibernian get it back, and Scott Allen again just using his arm to push Scott Brown away. Last time that led to another Celtic goal. It's Johnny Hayes, and the foul goes against Hayes on the edge of the area. And Hibernian, well, they're still continuing to keep going, but we're into added time, we're into those 4 added minutes, and it's too little too late.
Well, they don't have time to score 3 goals to take it to extra time, so yeah, game done and dusted, so let's make sure we don't concede any more. We've given them a couple of goals, and probably to score at this moment in time is a better reflection on the dominance of what we've had.
Hibernian with Malin, fire it across, and it's flicked away. It was a good defensive header there from Ryan Christie.
Yeah, because there were a couple of boys, I think it was at Canberra coming into the back there. Christie not done his job properly.
And the ball behind for a goal kick. And the Celtic fans have certainly enjoyed themselves. A 7-goal thriller, 5 goals for Celtic, 2 goals for Scott Brown. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, and as you say, through to the final, which is what we want, where we want to be. And as you can hear, the fans are certainly enjoying it, enjoying the performance. But it has been a wonderful game today, absolutely fantastic. I think it should have been won by more, but obviously Hibs did put up a stiff fight for a period when it was at 4-1, went to 4-2.
Here comes Odsonne Edouard, could he make it Super 6? Still Odsonne Edouard, it's cleared. Well, it got beyond the keeper, but Stevenson did well just to stand behind Maxwell and deny the Frenchman a goal that he would clearly deserve for his efforts this afternoon.
Yeah, I think that was certainly been the case, and I don't think he was going to look to pass it in any way, in any manner.
Scott Allen was not getting past Scott Brown there under any circumstances.
Well, I think just a little bit of retaliation for a couple of slaps and hands off in the face for. That'll be offside if Edward was to go and touch that one.
The ball fired to the far post. Boyle heads it back and it's gone out of play, and it'll be a goal kick to Celtic, and we are about 30 seconds away from the final whistle. And it's always a case in the semi-final getting job done, but Celtic have done it well this afternoon.
No, it's not job, but you know, sometimes you see semi-final affairs being very dull affairs and just getting through, but certainly there's been plenty of value for money in the tickets today for what you pay to come and see this, to see the champions play, and perhaps put up a good fight, but just almost ultimately the quality that was in display from Celtic in the attacking sense has seen us through.
And there indeed is the final whistle, and Celtic heading back to Hampden, their 30th consecutive domestic cup win. They are looking to make it 4 in a row in this tournament this afternoon. 5 goals to Hibernian's 2. Mohamed El Yunusi opened the scoring in the 17th minute. Callum McGregor made it 2-0 in 20 minutes. Hibs reduced the deficit, but El Yunusi with another goal 2 minutes before the break gave Celtic a 3-1 lead. Scott Brown made it 4-1, but that was quickly reduced again. But it was the Celtic captain who put a fairer gloss on the scoreline with his second of the afternoon, Celtic's 5th, and really dominant and well-deserved victory.
Oh, certainly so, Paul. I couldn't agree more with that statement, because we certainly were by far the better quality team today. It was only, you know, Hibs getting a wee boost by the goal they got just after we scored our 4th. And we came in it because previously it was just all Celtic, and we were just looking as though it was going to be how many goals that we scored, and obviously getting 5 today could have been more. We've had so many other attempts that Maxwell has done ever so well, and some last ditch blocks and challenges, and certainly it was a fantastic showing, a 5-star, 5-goal performance from the team today that we proved to be better than the rest at the moment, going back into that League Cup final. So yeah, it's been a wonderful show, a wonderful performance, and almost getting closer to what the correct scoreline should have been.
Well, another cup final to look forward to, and it is, I don't think you can underestimate how difficult it is to keep winning cup ties. I mean, that's 30 now that we have won, you know, in different circumstances, different opponents, different times, different venues, and we just keep going.
It's an absolutely amazing start, as you say, because cup ties are far more difficult beast to try and win, and try a game to try and win, because of, as you say, the nature of them, where you're playing the games, where you're going to go, you need to turn up on the day, whereas in the league you can get away with maybe a poor performance and not turning up. You cannot do that in a cup competition, and for us to go 30 games unbeaten in cup competitions and all competitions is a staggering level of consistency that this club has got, and we do not want that to stop. We want it now to go to 31 with the victory when we return here to Hampden.
Well, we shall find out tomorrow who Celtic will face in the League Cup final, but the only thing that matters, of course, is that Neil Lennon's side are there with an impressive victory this afternoon. I'm sure you will have enjoyed it on Celtic TV wherever you've watched it or listened to it in the world. We shall be back in action on Thursday night in Rome in the Stadio Olimpico, Celtic versus Lazio. But for just now, thanks Tom as always for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
And we leave you with the news that Celtic are back in the League Cup final. It is finished here this evening at Hampden. Celtic 5, Hibernian 2.